English is widely regarded as a global language, and it has become increasingly important for global communication. As a result, the demand for the English language education has been on the rise. In China, for example, a significant number of people are engaged in learning the English language. However, many English learners of Chinese encounter challenges when it comes to developing their speaking skills. So, this study aims to investigate the impacts of accents on the English pronunciation among the Chinese that is learning English. All the data were collected from 10 college students from different courses of Chinese students studying in UKM.
The following methodologies were used in the studies are vowel differences, sounds contrast, consonant distinctions, final consonant clusters, stress and intonations as the main areas of analysis.
Moving on, we have three objectives for this research. The first one, to investigate the Chinese learners' awareness of English pronunciation accuracy. This objective explores how the Chinese accent affect the pronunciation and sound of an English word. The second objective is to analyze the challenges faced by Chinese learners when pronouncing English vowel in a British accent. This research examined the difficulties of pronouncing certain words faced by the Chinese learners in the context of phonology. For the last objective, it is to propose effective teaching strategies to improve the English pronunciation for Chinese learners. We see this research offers several methods to assist the Chinese learners to better their pronunciation in the English language. That's all from me. We can move on to the interview.
Hi everyone, today I will be discussing how consonant distinctions and final consonant clusters affect English pronunciations among Chinese learners and how targeted exercises can help overcome these challenges. Chinese learners often struggle with sounds like r and l, where the tongue placement for r comes forward when the tip of the tongue presses against the roof of the mouth, just behind the teeth, while the tongue placement for l comes down while the back of the part of the tongue raises and presses against the insides of the top teeth. For instance, words like right and light can be confused due to the differences in their native phonetic systems. During the word pair practice exercises, participants were asked to distinguish between pairs like road and load and right and light. About half of these participants identify at least 5 out of 8 pairs correctly. However, the hardest pairs to identify were right and light, rip and lip, and rate and late, with many participants substituting the same sounds for the both words, such as right and light. Here's a graph showing the results. It shows that participants had the most difficulties with these words. This suggests that more practice may be needed to help them distinguish between the sounds. Another challenge is the final consonant clusters. Mandarin doesn't have clusters, so words like ask are often simplified to us, which can affect meaning. In our final consonants clusters exercise, participants were asked to complete words by adding missing sounds, such as hell, as in help, and ask, as in ask. Most participants answered correctly, but a few struggled with the hell and ask. Here's a graph showing the results from our final consonant clusters exercise. It shows that most participants correctly completed the two words, but a small number had difficulties with the two, which are hell and ask. We conducted this exercise with 10 participants, assessing their baseline pronunciations and recording their responses. For r and l, We found out that structured practice helped about 80% of the participants achieve better accuracy. For final clusters, most participants with 60% showed a strong performance, suggesting that this area may be easier to address with practice. These findings highlight that focused exercise can significantly improve learners' clarity and confidence in pronunciations. In conclusion, mastering consonant distinctions and clusters is key to clear pronunciations. By addressing these specific challenges through targeted exercises, learners can overcome common difficulties and communicate effectively. That's all for me. Thank you for listening.
Hi everyone, today I'll be talking about how accents impact English pronunciation, especially for Chinese learners of English. Our insights come from data we collected through interviews, highlighting real experience and challenges. First, vowel differences. Chinese learners often find English vowels tricky due to the differences between Mandarin and English. English has around 15 vowels, while Mandarin only has 5. This makes learning new sounds quite a challenge. For example, words like sheep and shipped. Sheep and ship often sound similar because Mandarin doesn't make this distinction. The vowel in cat, a, doesn't exist in Mandarin, so learners might substitute it with a closer sound which can sound off. Words like cut and cart confuse learners as they might use a single Mandarin sound like a for both. Even diphthongs like I in my or a in say can be challenging. Learners sometimes don't open their mouths enough, leading to mispronunciation. The English sound as in think and the as in this are also tough for Mandarin speakers. These sounds doesn't exist in their language, so substitutions are common. Are often becomes s, like think become sink or think become think. The is replaced with zek. This becomes this or this become this. The main challenge is tongue placement. These sounds require placing the tongue between the teeth, which isn't common in Mandarin. Some of the questions we asked during our interviews to explore what English vowels are the hardest to pronounce and how do they differ from Mandarin, and do they find and challenging? If so, how do they substitute these sounds and why? So these interviews gave us valuable insights into how accents influence pronunciation. Teachers can help learners improve clarity and confidence in English. We hope this helps highlight the importance of understanding these nuances. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Putri Diana binti Muhammad Nizam. My matrix number is A214232. So today I'll be explaining about stress and intonation regarding the research topic, which is about the Chinese speakers or Chinese learners. So stress refers to the emphasis placed on specific syllables or words. Stressed syllables are louder, longer, and clearer, as in the word present, which is a verb, versus the word present, which is a noun. So stress highlights important words in sentences like I need your help, focusing on the urgency of the word need. So you can see that the word need is clearly stressed here. I need your help. Next, intonation is the rise and fall of pitch in speech, which expresses emotions, attitudes, or grammatical meaning. For example, a rising intonation in the sentence "you are coming" signals a question, while falling intonation "you're coming" indicates a statement. So both stress and intonation guides listeners and add some nuance to communication. So one of the methods that we use to conduct the research is by interviewing, where we collect data and information about how the Chinese learners pronounce certain words in English, how English can affect or give impact in their daily communication. So from the research, we found that some of the Chinese learners could not properly pronounce the words given by the interviewers. As an interviewer, I could not understand some of the words uttered during the interview due to their slang or their accent from their hometown, which is China. So, however, they know and understand words that we provided, and they were able to jot down the words and sentences from our pronunciation. So one of the interviews mentioned that when she went to see her lecturer the other day to borrow some tape, she mentioned the word tap, which is tap, or like tap, instead of the word tape, because she got confused and on both spelling and also pronunciation. So this leads to the challenges of being a Chinese learner trying to adapt with the English language, especially when we know that Chinese learners from China, they are not familiar with how English language is, since their mother tongue is Mandarin. So they are still not familiar, not close enough with normalizing in speaking in English. So that is why they are confused and struggle to understand the language, especially when it comes to the Malaysian accents, because we all know that Malaysians, we have like our own Malay accent. As a Malaysian, we don't really use some of the Malaysians, we don't really use the United States or the United Kingdom accent. So it's a bit hard for them to adapt to the accents that we are using here. So I think that is all from me regarding the stress and intonation part. Bye bye.
In conclusion, this research shows that accent affect English pronunciation for Chinese learners in several ways. Differences between Chinese languages and English sounds often make it harder for learners to pronounce English correctly. However, the amount of exposure to English, formal instruction, and practice all help improve pronunciation. While a perfect accent isn't necessary for clear communications, it is important for learners to be easily understood. Future research could focus on finding better ways to help Chinese learners improve their English pronunciation in a practical and culturally aware manner.